I don't believe in ghosts. I really don't. But if I did, I'd be terrified to go to sleep tonight. Why? Because America's most notorious serial killer is said to be restless in his grave. Welcome back everyone, here to speak. Today we're going to talk about one of the scariest serial killers in history, someone whose body count may never be fully uncovered, and that's Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born on May 21, 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He grew up in a middle-class neighborhood and had a typical American upbringing, but behind closed doors, things were not so typical. Jeffrey's parents divorced when he was just 14 years old, and according to reports, his father was abusive towards both his mother and Jeffrey. When Jeffrey was just an adolescent, he began having urges to do something terrible, something monstrous. He would have visions of harming others, but he kept these thoughts to himself for many years. In fact, he didn't act on them until he was well into adulthood. In 1978, at the age of 18, Jeffrey Dahmer enlisted in the United States Army. Unfortunately, he was soon dishonorably discharged after only 2 years due to his malingering and absence without leave. He returned home in 1981 and became increasingly isolated. Jeffrey struggled with severe depression and even attempted to take his own life twice. He felt like there was no hope for him, so he decided to do something drastic. On June 18, 1981, Jeffrey bludgeoned his grandmother to death with a ball-peen hammer, dismembered her body and disposed of it in a garbage disposal. He then called the police and told them that his grandmother was missing. After a quick investigation, the police found out what Jeffrey had done and he was arrested. Jeffrey Dahmer was charged with second-degree murder, but he pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. He was subsequently sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But this was just the beginning of Jeffrey Dahmer's killing spree. While incarcerated, Jeffrey became obsessed with other inmates who had been convicted of violent crimes. He would talk to them for hours about their crimes and would listen intently as they described the details. Upon his release from prison, Jeffrey moved to a small apartment and began targeting young men, mostly men of color. He would lure them back to his apartment with promises of alcohol and drugs. Once they were inside, he would strike them over the head with a blunt object and then strangle them. After they were dead, he would dismember their bodies and dispose of them appropriately. In some cases, he even kept their body parts as souvenirs. What made Jeffrey Dahmer stand out from other serial killers was the fact that he engaged in cannibalism. He would cook the flesh of his victims and then eat it. He also kept detailed journals of his crimes and even took photographs. After committing these heinous acts, Jeffrey Dahmer led a double life. During the day, he worked as a recluse, but at night he went out and committed his horrible crimes. This continued for several years until one day a woman named Tracy Edwards managed to escape from his apartment. When the police caught up with Jeffrey, they found a lineup of photographs of his victims, along with several items that belonged to them. They also discovered a hidden video camera that Jeffrey used to film his attacks. Jeffrey Dahmer was arrested and charged with 15 counts of murder. He confessed to all of them and pleaded guilty. On February 15, 1992, Jeffrey Dahmer was sentenced to 15 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. While in prison, Jeffrey Dahmer became known as the Monster of Milwaukee. He received numerous threats from inmates who wanted revenge for his crimes against society. To protect him, prison officials kept him in solitary confinement. It wasn't long before Jeffrey's fellow inmates carried out their threats. On November 28, 1994, just 2 months after his 34th birthday, Jeffrey Dahmer was beaten to death by 2 fellow inmates. His skull was crushed beyond repair. Although Jeffrey Dahmer is no longer alive, his legacy lives on through the many documentaries and TV shows that have been made about him. Some people even believe that his ghost haunts the streets of Milwaukee, searching for new victims. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you believe in ghosts? And if so, have you ever seen one? Also, what are your thoughts on Jeffrey Dahmer's case? Let us know in the comments below, and do not forget to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all our future content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.